Hi guys, welcome back. I hope you're up for feeling that burn today because this workout is a whole lot of that. It's intense, it's high rep, but if you're up for a challenging workout where you really just want to focus on targeting your glutes, I got you, let's do it. So first up is a barbell hip thrust / banded abduction superset. So you're first going to do 12 reps with the constant tension barbell hip thrust, which you're seeing here. And then immediately after, you'll grab your band and get into 20 seated hip abductions, which you will see once these hip thrust clips play through. I've done this superset for years. It's really great at firing up your glutes for a really intense set. So whenever I am going a bit lighter and focusing on higher rep work, this is a fun superset to do. Not every workout has to be about crazy PRs and strict sets. Sometimes it's nice to just go in, feel a nice burn, get a good pump, and have fun with your workout. And this is definitely one of those supersets that will do that for you. So once you do your 12 reps, you'll immediately put your band on, slightly lean back, put your feet together, and then perform 20 banded abductions. Just pump them out. So then once that's done, you're going to rest for a good couple of minutes, let your body recoup, and then do it again for 4 sets total. Now I did do a warm-up set with just the barbell hip thrust, which you did see that set at the beginning, but since I wasn't going heavy, I did only do one warm-up set, and then I did keep the working weight the same for all of my 4 actual sets. Next up, one of my favorites, barbell RDLs for 4 sets of 12 reps. After a quick warm-up set, which I didn't film, to give you a quick load reference, I picked a moderately challenging weight where I was definitely working for those 12 reps, but it wasn't ever unobtainable, if that makes sense. So RDLs are definitely one of those movements where at first you're like, glutes, huh? I don't feel nothing in my glutes. But as you progress and nail down your form and find that connection, you'll always end up feeling them working in your RDLs. And one of the best ways to find this feeling is through focusing on it. So what I want you to do is, rather than thinking about how you're holding the bar and bringing this weight toward the ground, switch your focus to your glutes and how all you want to do is get them pushed back behind you as much as you can. Like you're trying to hit a wall with your butt. As you push your hips back, that bar will lower naturally on its own without even thinking about it, but the mental focus is completely different. So then once you reach that point where you can't push your glutes back anymore and you can feel that stretch in your mid to lower glute region, I want you to squeeze your glutes and use them to pull your hips back in until you're standing upright with the bar and your glutes are back in their neutral state. It's easy to go through the motions and just get your set over with, but if you really want to find that connection and be able to really feel where you are targeting, you have to look for it, especially with movements like this where it's not always just right in your face. Next up is the leg press, and we are doing a high and narrow foot stance for the glutes. So this foot placement will help you get the most out of your glute stretch at the bottom of the rep, which is what we're focusing on here. So you want to put your feet up a bit higher than your standard placement, and you want your feet slightly within shoulder width for that more narrow stance. You'll know your feet are high enough when you go down fully and your knees have minimal to no drive forward and your shins are staying fairly vertical. You're doing 5 sets of 10 to 12 reps, and you're going to increase the weight each set. Now, if you get to a point during your sets where you don't think you can go up in weight again without dropping out of that rep range, just keep the weight the same for the rest of your sets. Now, this is another one of those movements where it can be a little tricky to actually feel your glutes working. The foot positioning is going to be your best bet for feeling your glutes, but also I have my foot placed entirely on the pad. There is weight pressure going through my entire foot, but I definitely have more of that weight being pushed through my heel than anywhere else. That just helps to feel where I'm trying to drive that weight from and what I'm trying to use. And also your quads, they are an assisting muscle group here. There's no way around it. You will feel them firing up to some extent, but that foot positioning that we are using is going to give you your best chance of eliminating as much quad activity as possible. So don't freak out if you feel your quads firing up, because it's going to happen, but you just want to try again with what we were talking about with that last exercise to really just keep your mental focus on your glutes and doing what you can to feel your glutes working, making sure you're staying nice and tight, keeping those glutes contracted, feeling that deep stretch at the bottom, and just working through your set. Next up is a glute cable kickback for 2 sets of 15 reps on each side. You could also swap these out for rounded back extensions instead if you'd like, but that machine was taken, so I opted for these. Now I am standing on a plate to keep my foot from snagging the ground during my sets, and I am using the cable machine to brace myself. Now make sure when you do these that you only kick up as high as you need to get a full squeeze in your glute and then go back down. The higher past that point you bring your leg, the more your lower back is going to fire up, and that is what we don't want here. Another tip that can also be helpful for making sure that you're only going to the point that you need to is if you make sure to keep your core braced throughout the rep, it's much harder to surpass that point without losing that contraction in your core. So that can also be a kind of a good guide to follow as well, is if you take in a deep breath, contract your core, and then go ahead and do the movement. If you surpass that point, that will actually cause you to hyperextend and you're going to lose that contraction that you have in your core. So that's also always a good gauge to follow. I then ended with 1 set of 50 reps of banded dumbbell frog pumps. I have always loved this exercise, especially to burn out the glutes at the end for a good finisher. If you don't like this exercise, you can also just do dumbbell standard glute bridges or an incline. Just add the band just like I'm doing here for the same amount of reps. So just 1 straight set of 50 reps, pump them out as best as you can, and you are done. So if you try this workout out, let me know how it goes down below or over on Instagram. For workout programs, you can check out my site linked below. My gym fit is from Gymshark. They have the cutest gym wear. You can check out more on that as well below. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye guys.